Hashtag Boondox Trader Market Insights for Friday, July 31st, 2026. Good morning, traders. This is the Boondox Trader Market Insights Daily Briefing, your edge before the opening bell. I am your host from the desk of the Boondox Trader. Today is Friday, July 31st, 2026. We have a loaded show ahead. We are going to cover China closing in on ASML's lithography crown, a dangerous new arms pipeline from Beijing to Tehran, why two wars are now colliding in the Caspian Sea, and the one SPY credit spread setup the scanner flagged this morning. As always, this is for education and paper trading only. Let us dive in. Hashtag WW3 Watch. Iran buying 400 Chinese anti-aircraft launchers. Let us start with the geopolitical fire because it is moving fast. Reuters and the Times of Israel are reporting that Iran is set to receive the first shipment of up to 400 Chinese-made, shoulder-fired air defense systems within weeks. The deal is valued at roughly $60 to $70 million. The systems are the QW-12 and FN-16. These are man-portable surface-to-air missiles, basically bazooka-like launchers that a small crew can carry, hide, and fire at low-flying aircraft, helicopters, and drones. The reported route is overland from Urumqi in western China through Pakistan and into Iran. Beijing has denied the report. Pakistan has denied it. Iran has not commented. But the sources say the contract is signed with a Hong Kong-based intermediary called Zhongqing Baoshang International Investment. Why does this matter for markets? Because just last week President Trump warned both China and Russia not to sell arms to Iran, saying it would be, quote, very bad for them. If this delivery happens, it is a direct challenge to the U.S. It deepens the China-Iran-Russia axis, and it raises the risk that the Iran war becomes harder to end. From a trading perspective, this is exactly the kind of headline that keeps a bid under defense stocks, energy volatility, and safe haven flows into treasuries and the dollar. It is also why we keep saying, do not chase risk when the geopolitical fuse is this short. Hashtag Ukraine strikes Iranian weapons ship in the Caspian Sea. This China-Iran story connects directly to another major development over the weekend. Ukrainian SBU drones struck an Iranian cargo vessel in the Caspian Sea, the inland sea bordered by Russia, Iran, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan. Kyiv says the ship was carrying drones and military components from Iran to Russia. Iran claims it was a commercial vessel carrying iron, and that one sailor was killed. Tehran summoned Ukraine's top diplomat and vowed retaliation. The Caspian Sea has become a critical military supply route. Russia has received thousands of Iranian Shahid drones through that corridor, and recent reporting suggests Russia is now sending drone components back to Iran the same way. By striking there, Ukraine is trying to disrupt the Russia-Iran military partnership and force both countries to divert air defenses away from other fronts. Analysts are calling this a convergence of the Ukraine war and the Iran war into what one expert described as an emerging Eurasian conflict system. That is a fancy way of saying these two wars are no longer separate theaters. What happens in the Caspian can ripple into Hormuz, and what happens in Hormuz can ripple into oil prices and global shipping. For traders, the keyword is energy security. Any disruption in the Caspian or Strait of Hormuz puts immediate pressure on oil and gas, and that feeds straight into inflation expectations and central bank math. Hashtag China targets ASML's lithography moat. Shifting gears to semiconductors. China has made a move that chip investors cannot ignore. A state-backed firm in Shanghai is now mass-producing immersion deep ultraviolet lithography machines. These are DUV tools, not the cutting-edge EUV machines ASML uses for the most advanced chips. But DUV is still essential for making chips at 28 nanometers and above, which covers a huge slice of automotive, industrial, and consumer demand. The Chinese machine is reportedly comparable to ASML's 2008-era TWINSCAN NXT 1950i. That puts it roughly 4 generations behind current ASML technology, or about 15 years back. So this is not an overnight revolution, but it is a crack in the monopoly. China plans to deliver about 5 machines this year and around 20 next year, while ASML plans roughly 130 comparable units. The real threat is not today. It is that China now has a domestic alternative for mature node equipment, and over time that reduces its dependence on ASML and the Western semiconductor supply chain. ASML stock dropped hard on the initial headline, falling roughly 6 to 8% before bouncing. The market is still trying to decide if this is a headline risk event or the start of a real margin compression story. For now, it looks like fear overreaction, but it is exactly the kind of structural risk that makes semiconductor equipment a stock picker's market. Hashtag market breadth snapshot. Let us look at what the indexes are telling us. Right now the action is sideways chop. Over the last 30 days leadership has been mixed. Growth has tried to reassert itself through the Nasdaq 100, but rotation has been choppy and the market has not picked a clear direction. The Dow has shown relative strength, while small caps through the IWM have lagged. What this says to me is that capital is defensive but not panicked. In a sideways chop environment, credit spread sellers have the advantage if they stay patient and only take setups where the credit is worth the risk. Do not force trades when the indexes are grinding. Hashtag today's SPY credit spread setup. Now for the bonus segment. The SPY credit spread scanner ran this morning at 9:35 a.m. Eastern using Moomoo real-time option quotes. No fresh setup past the filters pre-market. Quotes were too thin outside regular trading hours. That is actually useful information. When the scanner stays quiet, it means the edge is not there, and the best trade is no trade. Remember the rules. Each paper trade is its own $100 account. Hard stop loss is $10. Profit target is 50% of the credit. No live trades until the paper track record proves the edge. Hashtag closing thoughts. To wrap up, Thursday's theme is escalation risk. China arming Iran, Ukraine striking Iranian supply ships, and China chipping away at ASML's dominance all point to one thing. The world is getting less stable, not more. In that environment, risk management is more important than return chasing. Trade small, trade defined risk, and stay focused. If you found this briefing useful, like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow morning. This is the Boondox Trader. Good luck out there.